folks. Don't mind me. I'm just fiddling with this thing. Hi. Hey, how's it going? How you doing? How's it, how are we feeling? Let me open up the chat. Hey, can you hear me? Question number 1. I feel like yes. Now, I'm going to say hi. There's a bit of a delay, so bear with me. Hitchbot, hello. It says, I'm predicting someone saying this is just to save face after some of the response to other videos that were, while unflattering to Ben, inaccurate. Now, the thing I found is not what anybody's been telling me. I checked what people were telling me, and I was like, I mean, I don't necessarily love it. Some of it's just like normal stuff that you're like, what? Okay, what's the problem here? I found one thing so far. I still have to like really dig through some of that, the raid of the house. I don't like how many guns they had out. I felt like that was a bit unnecessary. But like technically allowed, the warrant I think was okay. I mean, a judge. Here's the thing with warrants: people give so much guff to warrants. I saw this with Afroman as well. Like, I think Afroman was, don't mind me, was partially right, partially wrong. I think the police were partially right, partially wrong. But there's a lot of conversations about the warrant. It's just like a judge signed the warrant. It was good enough. Like, it's whatever, man. Like, yeah, they didn't find the sex dungeon. Okay, that doesn't invalidate the warrant. Same with this. Like, we didn't find any drugs, or they didn't find any Legos. The warrant was for Legos. They didn't find any Legos. Yeah, the warrant's still valid. The warrant's just to see if they're. Oh, my dog's barking. Sorry. Just see if they're there. So, you know, I did find a thing. I have a bunch of videos. We're gonna go through the scripts together, just doing it live. We'll get to that, but I want to go over a few things to be like, actually, guys, you said this and you're wrong. But no, the thing I found, nobody pointed out to me. They were all stuck on other things that I don't think were actually police being bad. But all right, chat. Mav says, and hi, Mav. Gotta stay objective. You gotta do videos on the bad as well as with the good. Can't be a bootlicker or whatever they say now. Oh, they still say that, Mav. They sure do. James, hello. Lisa, hello. Omniscient 420 says, how so, Hitch? You clearly explain everything in detail. No. Hitch is good. We don't hate Hitch here by any means. There are a couple people I'm looking out for just in case they do show up who have been a little bit wild in my comment section. But no. Anyway, let's see. James, Lisa, I think Jail, Green Tree. Hey, how's it going? Judy, hello. Epstein's second phone, hello. Who else do we got? Oh, we got D-Man 0001 Bacon. He says, hi, D-Man. It says, I so do enjoy being back in your lives. It's good to have you back. It's good to be doing lives again. Crimson Dennison, another name I feel like I haven't seen in a while. Hello. Lisa, no, the tally is still 2. It was 3, and then I undid that. D-Man says Afroman was 100% wrong. I'd give him a percentage of right, but there was so much like, they destroyed my gate. Like, yeah, unfortunately, that is permitted. Like, it's not great, but that is permitted. They broke my door. Same thing. They looked at my cake with lust in their eyes. Yeah, well, sorry. But yeah, I know. I get it. Listen, I know. And then he's like, but they stole my cakes. No, they didn't. I don't think they did. They stole my money. No, they miscounted initially. It's a whole thing. Like, I think the police were wrong for being like, you can't use the footage from the house. I think they were right for being like, he is genuinely harassing us with this. He was doing some stuff online that was just like, if this hadn't been the police, it probably would have been a problem. But that's its own thing. Hitchbot, I knew what you meant. We're all good. You've been around long enough. 98 HKG63, welcome back. Hello there. I'm not wearing a tie. I'm wearing a vest. You know, I got this nice double-breasted vest. I wanted to rock. I didn't wear a jacket this time because I think people were like, he's wearing a suit. He must be a lawyer. I was like, I'm literally, no. What are you talking? Like, people are like, you're a lawyer, or where did you go to law school? Like, I get the where did you go to law school as like a you're not a lawyer argument. But then people are like, you should know better. You're a lawyer. I'm just like, since when? When did that happen, folks? I don't remember that. CoffeeZilla's video was incredible. As someone who works in a field where like that, when I'm investigating, like in my personal life, my actual job, my civilian job, not my National Guard job, not my whatever, my civilian job, like that's the kind of stuff I do, is dig through like not the on scene, talk to people, put it all together, make the phone call stuff. I dig through like the tiny stuff. We actually, one of my first major cases that I did in this job that I have just ended. The guy was found guilty of first-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree murder. Now I can say he actually did it. He killed his landlords because he wasn't, I think, fully there. Said, they're trying to poison me, or they're trying to kill my daughter. And he had a second daughter who had just passed away, and he was not doing well. And he developed delusions, killed his landlords, tried to clean it up. The whole story is wild. It should be a Netflix documentary. And then he hid the bodies, and I was part of the team that tried to figure out where they were. And I got search and rescue within 50 feet. And then search and rescue did not find it because it was in the middle of a forest. And I believe they were hidden in culverts. When we did find them, some kid actually stumbled across them while like riding a dirt bike or ATV or something. When he found them, I was like, that's 50 feet from the point I gave. God, it doesn't count because they didn't find it. But I'm glad that's over for the family, for sure. I met the family during the trial. They were lovely. It was really nice to meet them and be like, yes, I did things. They're like, oh my God, it's so good. So, but yeah, I digress. Where disparaging and slanderous so-called music with a what now? Jassa, hello. I did see the coffee. Oh my, that's what I was talking about. The ramble. Well, it led to my ramble from the coffee. CoffeeZilla's investigation was so good. I keep seeing people reference it like, he proved, look at him, he proved that Bam is lying. I'm just like, he proved everybody was wrong. Brian was wrong. Crystal was wrong. The Bam franchise people were wrong. Literally every single person was wrong. And it was just like, wow. Like Crystal's books weren't as accurate as they should have been. The collection was not $200,000. That was just a rough estimate, and it was advertised as such. Brian didn't have $60,000 worth of Legos to claim because he sold some of them, and some were on on layaway. If what CoffeeZilla was saying is correct, like literally everybody was wrong, and it's just like, yeah, that's why I went. This is a simple thing I'm not touching because you got to go through all these tiny little details to figure this out, and he it would appear took a major step. I don't know if they'll be able to use that in the court case, but he took a major step in going through that and figuring it out, and he did a phenomenal job. And I like so much respect to him for that video. Of all the videos I've seen him do, like that one in particular, I was blown away by. So, Hitchbot says, speaking of finding bodies, what happened to your thing with finding the victims of some serial killer thing? Here's a problem with that. Now I have access to information that I cannot use. I don't actually have access. I could if I wanted to. And so I have to be very, very cautious. And I want to go back and do that. The problem is I did receive information from an internal source about something or other. I don't want to talk about it. It's nothing big, but it's enough that I'm like, I don't know if I can touch this right now. Maybe. But that one's not going, the people aren't going anywhere. They're dead. I'm not going to find them. But like if I found them. But I'm trying to focus on the UFO one because that one I really need to get out before anybody else does. I don't think I'm at risk of someone doing it for me, but like I would be devastated. If someone found one of the bodies, I was like, I'm going to go look for it. I'd be like, hell yeah, do it. That's great. If someone put out the UFO thing before I do, that's so much work. Just because I found some things. I think I proved a UFO thing is not a UFO thing. But it's one of the most important UFO sightings in American history. Just sort of got swept under the rug. It's the reason why. Oh, you easily distracted right here. And we're at 10 minutes right there. Perfect. We're about to start then. let me finish this rant. It is the UFO sighting that is the reason that we think of UFOs as flying saucers. It is the reason that Roswell was reported to police. It is the first report of Men in Black. It is responsible for the death of at least 2. It was Army at the time, Army Air Force intelligence officers. So but then Roswell happened right after, and everyone's like, "Oh, what? Forget about that one." So it's huge, and I think I've solved it. I think I know what it was. I think I can prove that. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. First 10 minutes, me rambling. We're already past that point, so in theory, and I'm not asking you to donate because you guys are way too generous already. In theory, it should trigger things. If it doesn't trigger things, I will trigger it for you. For example, that's a thing now. Is this what's the volume on this? There is no volume on that. Oh well, all right. There's no volume on that. Is there volume on this? Yeah, there is. Okay. There's nothing on this one. I already knew that. That one, nothing triggers that one yet. But some things do. So, if you are feeling generous, in theory something should happen. The train is still not triggerable. I will trigger it for you. That is a $20 donation. You can ask any question. The train will give you an honest answer. For example, if I were to activate it right now and ask you the question, what makes the green grass grow? The train will have an answer in its magic envelope. It is, after all, the truth. The answer is blood, blood, bright red blood. Good to know. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And then we send the train back. Them's the rules. Other rules. Play nice. I will get involved if you don't play nice, and I will enjoy it so much more than you, and I have all the power because it's my stream and I can kick you. I don't want to. I will do it, though, and I won't have a problem with it. So, excuse me. Where was I? Ah, yes. Where are we at? Are we ready? Yeah, Hitchbot changed, what, 1947? 1948 changed? End of 47 changed? We're finding that out right now. When did the Army Air Corps become the Air Force? November? September 18th, 1947. Okay, I was in the ballpark. Oh, love daddy. Well, like they say, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 rights built an airplane.
That's not a firearm, Sergeant. 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 Sergeant.
Why is the sky blue? Because God loves the infantry.
I thought that you'd get the what makes the green grass grow? Blood, blood, bright red blood. Oh, classic. All right. Just a smidge, Hitchbot. All right, let's do a video. Let me actually record on my real microphone. This is the one that gets put into the videos. This is just a backup, and it's also for syncing the audio. For example, clap sync. Also, thank you so much, Mav. When I say you guys are too generous, I'm usually referring to you. Just so you know. Just like, whatever they're paying you is too much. Ladies and there are going to be a few takes on this one. I got settled in. Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking to someone in my comment section about the elements of stalking in Utah that I believe Reckless Ben's own videos establish probable cause for. Opinion, not fact, all right? And they correctly pointed out, this commenter, that the undisputed... Son of a gun. If I read my own scripts, it works better. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking to someone in my comment section about the elements of stalking in Utah that I believe Reckless Ben's own videos establish probable cause for. And they correctly pointed out the undisputed fact that each action would what did I write? Distracted by your donation, because I think there's another one coming in. I'm like, oh no. Easily distracted. Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking. I don't like that intro. I'll get there. We'll figure it out. I do have a teleprompter. I'm not used to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking to someone in my comment section about the elements of stalking in Utah that I believe Reckless Ben's own videos establish probable cause for, and they correctly pointed out the undisputed fact that each action, which would constitute a course of action against an individual, can only count towards that individual. So the courses of action directed at Brandon Best don't count towards Joshua Johnson, and vice versa. But to claim that the courses of action against the business must also be separated is wrong. Ah, Sirloin, you son of a gun.
Our Lord and Savior, Taser Daddy. Peoples.
James says, I was discussing stalking elements in Utah, you know, like kids do. Thanks, James. What time is that? That's at 16 minutes. All right. The Utah stalking statute explicitly states a course of conduct can include interfering with an individual's property and entering property owned or leased by an individual. Hanging this sign is interfering with Brandon and Joshua's property. Gaining access to the roof is entering Brandon and Joshua's property. Ben's actions appear to be directed towards Joshua and Brandon, with the building acting as a sort of conduit. I don't have anything on the screen this time. It will be in post. It's basically Ben just being Ben. Trespassing onto property. Oh, that's a different color. Interesting. It was right around the time I was thinking, would actions in Oregon count in Utah? The acts committed in Utah. Oh, let me do this better. Okay. It was right around the time I was thinking, would actions in Oregon count in Utah? The acts committed in Oregon affected someone in Utah, so Utah could maybe claim jurisdiction. Well, let me just check on that when I realized, wait a second, this crossed state lines. It's federal. And sure enough, under 18 U.S.C. 2261 Alpha, stalking occurs when someone travels in interstate commerce, i.e., the highway, with the intent to harass someone, and in the course of or as a result of such travel or presence engages in conduct that causes, attempts to cause, or would be reasonably expected to cause substantial emotional distress to that person. Anyone who thinks Ben shouldn't have known his conduct would cause substantial emotional distress needs to reevaluate a few choices. And anyone who thinks trespassing onto a roof or forging documents is part of legitimate legal service needs to touch grass instead of smoking it. And that's the end of that one. I love it. Also, Mav says, they don't pay me enough. Uncle Sam does, and it's disposable at the moment. Well, isn't that convenient? I just like the buttons. They're just fun. All right, anyway. What else we got? JCNT says, longtime caller, first time listener. I just used that. Not that version of the actual version. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Mega respect for approaching with a neutral mind and not being influenced by feelings. Love the amount of research you do. Thank you so much. The rest of the internet doesn't. But I'm used to that. Listen, this is a hobby. There have been a lot of people like, got out-ratioed, nerd. And I actually have in my script call out to that. But I'm not getting a big channel by doing this. That's for sure. If I wanted a big channel, I'd have a big channel. I'd do it by being a little more deceptive. And that's not what I want. This is a hobby. It scratches an itch, a creative itch that I have. I have a real big boy full-time job. But I really do appreciate comments like that say, hey, you're doing all right, kid. Although I'm an old man now, so I feel like it sometimes. So I really do appreciate that because I do put in work. I do try. And if I haven't done enough work, I say that. And then people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't put enough work in. I'm just like, come on, guys. And then if I wait too long, like, you're just jumping on this a week later. I'm serious. It's all these people, like, pick us lame people. Oh, this hasn't affected me at all. I don't mind. No, it's very frustrating because I'm like, I want you guys to be right. I want you to have this information. I want you oh God, it was the same with the defund the police movement. It's like there are things you're saying that are good, and there are things you're saying that are just absolutely false, and you cannot. Some of you distinguish between the two, and that's a problem for your movement. And whether or not I agree with your movement, you will not succeed to the degree that you want to, I would assume, if you are not getting the basics correct. And that frustrates me. Anyway, 98 HKG63 says, yeah, having a big channel has more cons than pros. I see, if you do it right, if you have a team, I don't have a team. I mean, I've got you guys. You guys are a team. You're my team. Well, I do most of this solo. And I kind of like that way. I'm looking into getting some help with editing, and I'm just like, I don't know, because this doesn't really make money. I can't really afford an editor. I don't want to like ask someone to work for free. I don't know if I'd like to give away the creative control, but the editing is the part I don't like the most. Like, I like the writing, I like the researching, I like the filming. I don't love the editing, but I have a vision of what I want the editing to be. So it's tricky. And if I could pay someone real money, I'd be like, yeah, no, we'll figure it out. But now it's a whole thing. Will this be moved to federal court? Maybe the money amount would do it. I don't know. The civil stuff, I have literally no idea. The criminal stuff, I don't think. Like, I'm saying what it could be. Doesn't mean it's going to be. I don't think they're going to go after him federally for this. Brick by brick and stuff, says Rack the Jipper. That Rack the Jipper is good. Hey. Yes. Especially with the information I have and have heard. And oh man, there was someone, I forget who it was. They had this whole thing about like the previous businesses that the McNeff family was involved in. Just like, oh my God, you guys. Oh no. Like, you guys are wild. Don't like them. Do not like them. Just promise to pay them and don't. That's how you get people working free. That's right. He already has a Fed commission. Oh. Alright. Which video is next? Disclaimers. I have a lot of disclaimers now because people are confused. Some of them. Okay. This is a more information on the first traffic stop. EDB went through all 300 pages of the civil legal filing yesterday. 6 hours. Some of it silly. Some of it yikes. Yeah. I have not gone through it because it's civil, and it's too far out of my well of knowledge to really be like, oh yes, I will know things about it. Like the criminal stuff, I'm good. Criminal stuff's easy. Civil stuff's hard. It's there's a more, the standard for criminal, like to prove criminal, is much higher, whereas civil it's much lower. So there's a lot more like wiggling around and diving in and out of arguments. It's just like some of it's wild. Whereas criminal, it's like everything's just sort of makes sense to me anyway. Like you can sort of track it back to what should it be in this context. Whereas civil is just like, I'm drowning over here. So I've been letting that happen with the professionals. But the criminal stuff, that is my expertise. That is what I do. So I'm gonna do that. Moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been so many comments accusing me of being wrong about the first traffic stop involving reckless spend, and of being paid off by bricks and minifigs, and of being out-ratioed, that I wanted to correct the record. I actually reached out to multiple police officers and kind of a lawyer. I mean, they've not officially, but I talked to someone who has a law degree to confirm that my eyeballs still work, and they do, turns out. So the next step is Crimson Dennison, you sly dog. Thank you so much. Look out, a distraction. Anyway, carry on. All right, well, let me just... I was having such a good intro, too. Such a good intro. How dare you? I got the button. I'm going to use it. I spent money on those. Your money that you don't... This is where your donations goes, to these bad boys. Another one. Oh, they're so fun. Oh, I love them so much. Anyway. Where was I? Easily distracted. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been so many comments accusing me of being wrong about the first traffic stop involving reckless spend, and of being paid off by bricks and minifigs and of being out-ratioed that I wanted to correct the record. I actually reached out to multiple police officers and sort of a lawyer. I mean, technically a lawyer. It wasn't like this is official lawyering stuff, but I did reach out to confirm that my eyeballs still work, and they do, it turns out. So the next step is addressing some misconceptions. Also, I want to remind you that using ratio as your sole argument is a bandwagon fallacy, which is an excuse for me to say, I will not compromise my integrity for the convenience, son of a gun, JCNT. I was in the throes of passion. Also, thank you so much. All right, where was I? I forgot about that. I made that noise annoying on purpose. Also,
Another one. Distractions everywhere.
Mav, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna? No, it's supposed to do it. Mav, you son of a... Why isn't it doing it? Thank you, Mav. I don't know why it didn't automatically trigger, but it says it's working, so. That jerk. Is it turned on? Why does it say it's offline? I see. All right, I'll have to fix that. I found the problem, though. But thank you so much. My God, Mav. Oh, that's a third one. That's a... Oh, it's up to 3 again. But thank you so much. All right. Leyland Squirrels, how's it going? Who else do we... No, Rack, yeah, it's because every time Mav does... So, a long time ago, someone... I think it was Iceblade, who is not here. Thank goodness. Just kidding, no. Was like, how much would it cost for someone to donate for you to drink a Four Loko on stream? And I hate Four Lokos. I, with a passion, hate Four Lokos. And I was like, $100. Nobody's gonna do that. It'd be crazy. And then all of a sudden, it's become a thing. And like, it pays for these lights. So I'm not like super upset about it, but I, with a passion, hate Four Lokos. They love it. You guys, you love it. If I really hated it, I wouldn't do it. But we're up to 3 now that I have to consume on my tab. And so, because it's an evil thing to do, this is what plays when it does it. Anyway. Stop. Reset. All right. Yeah. So, that's the bit. Hitchbot says, nope, that was 100% me because I did the same to Artie. That was you! No, yeah, okay. Iceblade was one of the first people to do it, maybe? It was you. Yeah, we're up to... All right, why are you doing that? So, yeah. The 3 logo donations does pay for me to have lights that do that. There's a third light I want to get. I don't mind my untucked shirt. I'm faking it from the waist up. I got pants on. I'm just, faking it from the waist up. Anyway, let me actually do this video. Maybe. Well, we might never get to the part where I'm like, he did get his rights violated. All right. Also, I wanted to remind you that I'm just imagining you doing it again. Sorry. Ice Blade Mad jump with the donuts after you pose a challenge. That's right. That's right. Yes. Okay, so it was you. I'm Tom ducking it. I got pants on! Or I'm just very tan, who knows? I'm sunning my perineum, or whatever. We're never gonna get through this. I'm gonna be so mad. I just proved it. You crazy. I'm gonna be so mad editing this. Oh. Also, I wanted to remind you that using ratios, God, is 6-7 a ratio really? I don't know. Also, I wanted to remind you that using ratios as your sole argument is a bandwagon fallacy, which is an excuse for me to say, I will not compromise my integrity for the convenience of a bandwagon. Hold on. All right, yep. Also, I want to remind you that using... No, hold on. Excuse me. Also, I want to remind... Nope. Also, I want to... Nose is itching. What did I just do? There we go. Also, I want to remind you that using ratio... Can do that again. Also, I want to remind you I can't read my own writing. Also, I wanted to remind you that using ratio as your sole argument is a bandwagon fallacy, which is an excuse for me to say, I will not compromise my integrity for the convenience of a bandwagon. You really gotta get that on some merch. It's a good line. It's a good line. But first, some disclaimers. All right. Disclaimer number 1. I don't like Bam. I don't like Joshua. I don't like Brandon. I don't like the McNeffs. Based on what I've seen, I have the personal opinion that they are predatory, and I think they're bad at running businesses. I do not know them. I've never knowingly interacted with them, and I'm not paid by them. I'm not wishing for their success. I have no intention of ever encountering or stop. I gotta do it all again. I gotta put some pauses in so I don't have to do it all again. Disclaimer number 1. I don't like Bam. I don't like Joshua. I don't like Brandon. I saw that. Okay. I see how it is. Well, I blame you. Mav, it's all your fault. All right. Anyway. Disclaimer number 1. I don't like Bam. I don't like Joshua. I don't like Brandon. I don't like the McNeffs. Based on what I've seen, I have the personal opinion that they are predatory, and I think they're bad at running businesses. I do not know them. I've never knowingly interacted with them. I'm not paid by them. I'm not wishing for their success. I have no intention of ever entering into any contract with them. They could offer me $1 million right now, and I'd say no. Go on, Bam. Test that. Come on. You won't. You're scared? Anyway, my focus has not been on... What was that? Anyway, my focus has not been on any of that. It's not on the ethics. It's not about the morals of this. It's on the criminal elements that may or may not have been met. If you or Ben or anyone else think the ends justify the means, great. I saw that coming, you son of a gun. Thank you, Mav. That's very helpful. I'm so glad you're doing that. If you or Ben or anyone else think the ends justify the means, great. If you or Ben or anyone else don't understand why, as an example, gaining someone's signature through deception in order to forge a document is potentially felonious, then you may want to consult a lawyer before... Sorry. Then as a personal... You hear that, right? Then as a personal... Oh, God. Sorry, I'm losing it. Then, as a personal recommendation, that is not legal advice, you may want to consult a lawyer between... I'm struggling here. Then, as a personal recommendation that is not legal advice, you may want to consult a lawyer before attempting to get justice for a victim of criminal or civil theft. To comment on the real Mr. Bibbs, says cops are complicit in railroading and running cover for the people that took his property, in my opinion. I mostly disagree because of the two of them, Josh was the only one that was actually articulating criminal offenses. What Ben was dealing with was only civil. So, oh no, Mrs. Tom G, thank you so much. Oh, great. Now it's going to start. I'm never going to get through this. There is. So I think they used a weird amount of guns. Sorry, I'm sitting on my legs because I'm a crazy person. In the search warrant, like that seemed very strange to me. And there was one moment in the drug vehicle search that I went, aha, that's not allowed. And it's not what everyone seems to think. So I'm not going to say 100% they didn't do a little bit of whatever they're doing. I think it wasn't because they were like, yeah, go Mormons. I think it was because like, oh my God, we're so sick of this dude. He needs to stop, and he did need to stop. He really needs to stop. Like I enjoy Ben's content, but I'm looking at this going, oh my God, dude! If I was your lawyer, I'd be sweating gosh darn bullets. I'd be sweating the vodka right out of me because if I was his lawyer, I'd also be Russian for some reason. I can dream, all right? No, I'm a man of my word, Crimson Denizen. I'll have to drink it at some point. Where was I? All right, disclaimer number 2, right? Is that where I was at? Disclaimer number 2 for those of you. Disclaimer number 2 for those of you who are new and also trying to start a fight in my comment section. I will match your energy. I don't set the bar, but I will stop by for a drink. So if you come out swinging, you better be prepared to have your ground game tested. Not only will I remember you, even if you're popping in and out of multiple areas in my comment section, I will enjoy it more than you. This is true, by the way. A lot of what I do is practice for the real world. In the National Guard, I am a human intelligence collector with military intelligence, and a lot of that is just dealing with people. And so I like to, I'm not trying to get people upset, but I seem to attract them, and I use it as practice. I have a lot of fun doing it. So I am a professional, some would say, pardon my language, shit stirrer to a degree, but a lot of that is just to understand and test certain communication devices. Although I was doing that well before I got into that gig. Now I just have a reason to justify it. Disclaimer number 3. Everything I say in this video or the comments section is alleged and or a personal opinion based on the information I have reviewed that was available at the time of filming. Do not consider any of this to be or cite any of this as fact unless you can and have verified it independently. Nothing I say should be considered a call to action. What we got? Mud wrestling match. You don't think I've never done naked jello wrestling. Don't you think I've never done that? You'll never know. But don't think I haven't. Or do. You won't know. Alright, so this is about the first traffic stop. It's more information about the first traffic stop. You're not going to see it. That will be added in post. Magic of editing. You can ask questions, though, and I will try to answer them if I see them. Love Daddy, thank you so much. Says right along to with Ice Cube and Reckless Ben. Yeah, they go around serving papers, committing civil infractions. I hope Ice Cube helps them serve papers correctly and also fill out papers correctly. Those lawsuits, he did not have a judgment. He thinks he had a $10,000 judgment. He did not. He absolutely did not. His paperwork was so incredibly bad. I am not surprised police were like, this isn't real, or Josh was like, this is not real. I am not at all surprised. Not even a little bit, because it was oh my God, like I don't know how you could mess it up that bad. What was I saying? All right. Earlier, I established the first traffic stop on the vehicle Ben was in was lawful. The vehicle failed to stop before entering the unmarked intersection, and it in fact failed to stop at all. This is the video zoomed in. We can see the shadow on the right never stops moving. Some people thought I didn't show enough of that video and was trying to hide something despite me giving you all of the necessary information to repeat the experiment yourself. So I will show you a longer version to rebut that argument. Sorry to call those people out, but some of you are way too aggressive about something you haven't personally confirmed. All right, thanks, Mav. Mav says, last one, got to get back to work. Distractions! It's not going to be the last one. I know it already. Mad that I'm sitting on my legs. Those days are over. Listen, like last week when I was filming, I was sitting on my leg. It gives me more reach to this chair is kind of low. It's a nice chair. I love this chair, but I stood up and took a step, and my entire leg was numb, and I hadn't realized it, and I almost died. Like I almost impaled myself on a pole. My entire ankle rolled. I thought it was gonna be a much bigger problem than it was. I was limping around afterwards. Like I'm screwed. Like I'm not gonna be able to walk for a week. No. It was sore, but it was fine. But I was like, all right, we gotta stop doing that. Sorry to call those people out, but some of you are way too aggressive about something you haven't personally confirmed. With that out of the way, let's address some things that a few comments brought up. First, people have been saying the police also rolled through this stop sign without stopping, which I am not seeing. I suspect they had their lights on, which means they don't have to stop because the audio from the body cam turns on right here. Now, generally, the body cam is constantly recording a 30-second loop to catch anything that caused you to activate it, and the audio turns on the moment that you activated it. And if that's true here, the lights were activated before the stop sign. A commenter does say that we would be able to see the lights off of Ben's car because we can see the headlights off of Ben's car, but I disagree, partially because it's the middle of the day, so why would the police have the headlights on? But mostly because what that commenter is seeing is a reflection from the sun. There's also a commenter, I think it might have been the same one, that's like, oh, at this time in this video, you can see the police going through the stop sign, and no, you cannot. Anyway, I might add that, I might not. Second, people have been arguing the length of the stop was unlawfully long. I only dealt with whether or not the stop could be made in my original video because that's what Ben complained about. I was, however, reminded in one of my video premieres that Ben is from California and may consider a rolling stop to be lawful, which could explain the confusion in his own video. I will confirm, though, and I have confirmed with other people in law enforcement, that stop was not lawful. It was, no, let me rephrase that because I've said it wrong. The stop wasn't lawful. The police stop, Ben's stop, was not lawful. Police stop was. All right. I only dealt with whether or not the stop could be made in my original video because that's what Ben complained about. I was, however, reminded in one of my video premieres that Ben is from California and maybe considers a rolling stop to be lawful. That could explain his confusion in his own video. But as the police told Ben, and then that's going to be a clip of, we play different here, which is a stupid thing for them to say. I think a rolling stop, because a rolling stop is called a California stop, so I assume that's correct, or allowed in California. As a side note to everyone involved, stop saying stupid things. That was directed towards the police for being like, we play different here. Shut up. The length of the detention is a constitutional issue, so Utah can't have laws that would extend the length of the stop past what is allowed throughout the United States. But what is an unlawfully long stop? That's a great question because there isn't actually a number. Per Rodriguez versus the United States, it can't be longer than is necessary to complete the mission of the stop. So surely when the officer says the driver is only getting a verbal warning for not stopping, but then starts talking about something completely different, the stop should be over, right? And then you need to start asking, am I still being detained? I know people give a lot of flack to the First Amendment auditors for saying that all the time, but there is a time and a place for it. However, Rodriguez versus the United States also says the detention can be extended if there is reasonable suspicion of other criminal activity. If Ben hadn't been in that car, the stop likely would have ended right there. But if there was some sort of reasonable suspicion of harassing behavior committed by Ben, if Ben happened to be in the car, it's almost like there's a reason they asked the question of who was Ben in the car. I have too much fun with this. So now the stop can be about the harassing behavior and the issuance of a trespass notice, but let's go back a bit. The stop was at 13:14 the day. It's 13 hours, 14 minutes, 1 p.m. 19 minutes earlier, one of the officers got a call from Joshua, and Joshua claimed someone had just delivered a fake passage? So now the stop can be about the harassing behavior and the issuance of a trespass notice, but let's go back a bit. The stop was at 13:14. 19 minutes earlier, nope. The stop was at 13:14, which is 1:14 p.m. 19 minutes earlier, one of the officers got a call from Joshua, and Joshua claimed someone just delivered a package that was fake, full of rubber chickens, dressed as a fake UPS delivery driver. Let me actually read what I've written instead of getting off script. The stop was at 13:14, which is 1:14 p.m. 19 minutes earlier, one of the officers got a call from Joshua, and Joshua claimed someone just delivered a fake package. I've done it again. I'm so bad at this. So bad at it. So bad. I'm so sorry, folks. This is what the problem with dealing with me doing this live. The stop was at 13:14, which is 1:14 p.m. 19 minutes earlier, one of the officers got a call from Joshua, and Joshua claimed someone just delivered a fake package. I've almost just done it. How can't I read? Anyway, I'm so sorry. We have fun here. The stop was at 13:14, which is 1:14 p.m. 19 minutes earlier, one of the officers got a call from Joshua, and Joshua claimed someone just delivered a fake package, possibly to figure out if he lived there. We know this did in fact happen from statements made by Ben and associates. And we know that those exact same statements, the actual purpose of the delivery was to get Joshua's signature to forge a false contract, which is a felony. This is true. It is a felony. If he actually went through with it, it would be a Class A misdemeanor if he just conspired to do it, which he has conspired to do it because someone made an overt act and actually accomplished part of the mission. Joshua also says Ben showed up at BAM headquarters and that Provo has a case against Ben for harassing BAM. I haven't seen this case, but I suspect a complaint was at least filed. At the very least filed is what I wrote. It screwed me up. Joshua also says BAM... I need water is what I need. Joshua also says Ben just showed up at BAM headquarters and that Provo had a case against Ben for harassing BAM. I haven't seen this case, but I suspect a complaint was at the very least filed. This statement does not inherently suggest criminal charges have been filed against Ben in Provo, but it should tell a competent police officer that there is a pattern of conduct developing. Some people may think this is a false accusation against Ben. It's a statement about, a woman made death threats in one of our stores. And I disagree, actually. Police aren't necessarily going to act on that. We don't know if it did or did not happen. Although, judging by this, it wouldn't shock me. There's going to be a video of people going nuts in one of the BAM stores. And it's entirely possible that Joshua truly believes Ben sent the woman. I understand why people might think this is a bombshell, but unless that actually contributed to legitimate police actions against Ben and it was unreasonable for Joshua to believe his statements were true, I don't see it as particularly legally significant. Joshua had already said enough by that point to justify police contact with Ben. Plus, we have Joshua asking if police will fingerprint the box, and they tell him this. And they say, yeah, we're not fingerprinting that. Only for aggravated felonies. Which is usually correct. If they're not fingerprinting the box because it's not an aggravated felony, then the death threat statement thing, whatever's going on, isn't being factored in, most likely. However, I do urge people to be a little more cautious with their statements to police. Was Nerdy Digger in here? You made the right call. You made the right call. Let me know what they were saying if you could in the stream channel on Discord. But yes, Nerdy Digger is a known troll. Appreciate it. Take that, Nerdy Digger. All right. I will say this fingerprint statement is accurate for many departments. I've never once dusted for prints outside of a training environment. I've tried once, and the scene supervisor was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And I went, "Well, they entered the room through the window. There are probably prints here." They go, "Buddy, a USACIL doesn't have the permission." The personnel, damn, that's just sorry. Sorry. And I'm like, and I tell him, "Well, they entered the room through the window. There are probably prints on the windowsill." And he goes, "Buddy, USACIL doesn't have the personnel to process fingerprints in attempted permanent sleep cases faster than 6 months. We send them prints for a burglary, and they're going straight to the trash." And I want to put in years of academy training wasted from Toy Story. Just putting that in there on editing. Oh, of course they were, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. You know. And then there's this statement by Joshua, which is interesting. Which is Joshua going, "If they come back, I might not be a good boy," which is such a dumb statement. My supervisor was kind of a surfer bro. He didn't have a surfer bro, but I turned him in for crimes. So he doesn't deserve my respect in this story. I turned him in for crimes that he was confessing to me. And he's like, "Yeah, I do this all the time. I do like credit card fraud." And then the case goes to me. I just throw it out. I'm like, "That's so insane. Oh my God." And I turned him in, and it ended that part of my career. They shifted me away to somewhere else. It didn't end the career. I was very mad about the whole thing. Mostly because I didn't have actual evidence. I knew that if it was just a he said situation, that I would lose. He was very well liked. He was a very good supervisor. He was very good at his job. But my God, I don't regret turning him in. People are like, "You're a bad apple. You've never reported it." I'm like, I almost ended my career doing it. Not because people didn't have my back, but because it was a messy situation, and then I shifted out of it, and it was just like, and then I sort of just lost the drive to do the job. So it wasn't like people retaliated against me, but I lost the drive to do it during all of that for a little bit, and then I got back in. But yeah, it's the evidence of like all it is him just like, I don't know that's true. And then I actually found, like, finally I saw something like this. It was for a different thing, but I was like, I'm gonna get him either way. I'm gonna get him for the other thing, which was quid pro quo in the Army, and then I'm gonna be like, and also he said this, just so you know. So yeah, so the Joshua's statement is that I won't be a good boy. I know people have been saying Joshua made a death threat, and if that's what they're referring to, that's not a death threat. That's at best suggestive of possible future assault. See, Ben has been claiming free speech quite a bit, and I don't think that he's been coloring entirely inside of those lines, but Joshua also has free speech. Sure, a true threat wouldn't be protected, but his statement can potentially be boiled down to, "Well, if Ben comes onto my..." Oh, wait, no, I got puppets for this. See, Ben has been... Sorry, I'm excited about what's about to happen. See, Ben has been claiming free speech quite a bit, and I don't think he's been coloring entirely inside of those lines, but Joshua also has free speech. Sure, a true threat wouldn't be protected, but his statement can potentially be boiled down to, "If Ben comes onto my property to continue the harassment, I'm going to..." No, let me... "If Ben comes onto my property to continue the harassment, I'm not going to turn the other cheek and will instead defend myself and my property." What was that voice? I gotta do more of that. Hold on, redoing that. "If Ben comes onto my property to continue the harassment, I'm not going to turn the other cheek and will instead defend myself and my property." Sorry. That's not inherently a true threat. Did he say that, though? No, of course he didn't. Could that have been what he meant? Sure. Could he alternatively have meant This is where it gets wild, folks. I can't believe I wrote this. I'll assume a brat role in a dumb sub-relationship with Ben. You sick degenerates. I mean, theoretically, yes. Yes, that could have been what he meant. Probably not, though. Now, would an officer know exactly what he meant? Yeah. Could the officer have asked him to clarify? Yes. Did the officer ask him to clarify? No. But he did give good advice to Joshua. He said, call the police instead, which fantastic. Good move, officer. Well done. It is Julia Child. More butter on the potatoes. It's a little bit of McGonagall. All right, hold on. There's a train bit that I have. Oh, that was a threat. Oh. That's why I sit on my legs so I can reach the train. All right. Might have been what got her. What? No? No comments on my assume a brat role in a dom sub relationship? You degenerates? All right. I thought that was a wild one, but what do I know? You really are degenerates. So the actual threat was him being like, was it officer saying, did you tell dispatch that you were going to shoot one of them? They came back. So that's not great, obviously, but we can review it in the same context as the previous statement by Joshua. My theory is that Joshua called dispatch and said, send someone here. If these kids come back, I'm going to shoot them, which sounds really bad, but maybe not for the reason you think. One could argue that Joshua's at the end of whatever wits he might have because of what Ben is doing. I don't know. Maybe because there's been a lot of that, right? This is a clear indicator of the emotional distress Ben's actions have to be likely to cause for stalking charges to stick. But is it also a criminal threat? No, it's not. Let me be very clear. Let me be clear. It's a very stupid thing to say to law enforcement. No. Wait. I brought this out just for this. Where's the front? Ah, oh, there's the front. There's the back. I have it. I'm going to use it. No! Jesus Christ. No! Let me be very clear. It's a very stupid thing to say to law enforcement. A better option might be, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing sleep. I can't handle it. But once again, free speech applies, and to explain that, I want to explain the true threats that I mentioned earlier. Pick you up off the floor. Just put you right there. Just stuff you in. Oh, it's difficult to hear what I said. All right, I'll re-record that bit just in case. This will probably catch it. Oh, I suppose it was with this. I'll assume a brat role in a dumb sub-relationship with Ben. You sick degenerates. I mean, theoretically, yes. Would the officer know exactly what he meant? Could the officer have asked him to clarify? Yes. Did the officer ask him to clarify? No. But he did advise Joshua to call the police instead, which is, that's a good move. Thank you, officer. Yes. Yes. Assume a brat role in a dom sub relationship. If they come back, I won't be a good boy. Or I can't promise I'll be a good boy. All right. True threats. According to Virginia versus Black, a true threat is a serious expression of an intent to commit an act of unlawful violence to a particular individual or group of individuals. The speaker need not actually intend to carry out the threat. Rather, a prohibition on true threats protects individuals from the fear of violence and the disruption that fear engenders, as well as from the possibility that the threatened violence will occur. Damn, nailed it. I'm so good. So a true threat would not be protected speech, but two things. That's two. 1, 2. Forgot how to count for a second. So a true threat would not be protected speech, but two things make Joshua's statement not a true threat. One, we don't know that Joshua intended for the violence to be unlawful. It may have been if he had carried it out, but he may have believed that whatever he was going to do in whatever situation he found himself in was some sort of lawful home or self-defense. I know it's not really the strongest argument, but the second one is better. He didn't communicate this threat to Ben or his friends, so there is no fear of violence instilled in them. I don't like this situation. I don't like Joshua. I don't like Brandon. I don't like Bam. I told you all that in the beginning, but I caught it. What am I saying? I don't like this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. I don't like this. I don't like Joshua. I don't like Brandon. And as I said in the beginning, for all of this, I don't like Bam. But I gotta call it like I see it. And I'm seeing why the police didn't act on this. Let's go back to the circumstances of the stop. An officer tells another officer to get a stop on the vehicle Ben is presumed to be in. Is that okay? Well, there were certainly enough statements from Joshua for an officer for an officer to at least follow the vehicle and attempt a consensual contact, and we know at least some of those statements were accurate. They could probably correctly justify a brief stop at the vehicle on suspicion of harassing activities alone, but at 13:13, before the stop was initiated, this officer radioed that there was nothing criminal, just filming, which technically filming can be criminal. It's usually not, but if it's done for the purpose of causing emotional distress, which I believe they can certainly argue now, but perhaps couldn't at the time, then yeah, it could be criminal. With that clarification, though, they probably just would have followed Ben until they... With the clarification that he's just filming, nothing criminal, they probably would have at most followed Ben until he left their jurisdiction. Then they would have disengaged, or he parked and they would have attempted a consensual contact, or until the driver committed a traffic infraction, which is what happened. He didn't stop before entering the unmarked intersection, and he technically never stopped at all. But what do you, the viewer, think? Please let me know in the comments. Please be nice. If you like this video, a like is always appreciated. You can always dislike it. Some people care about ratios. I don't, baby. Have fun. Be polite. And until the next time, be good. Stay safe. We have fun here. Hi, chat. Oh, I'm going to need some water. How are you doing? Check out the nerds. And oh, my God. The crimes and revenge of the nerds. My God. Let me put a little pause here. Do I dare put a little pause here? All right. Yeah, I'm going to put a pause in the audio recording. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. It's going to be annoying for me when I edit. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I just need some water. Let me bring you back a little bit. Oh, what bam! Got my seltzer. Just gonna... Oh, yeah. Let's crack that bad boy open. Hello, pants. I bet it causes you emotional stress. It causes some textiles stress. I don't love that I said that. The wonderful thing about Tigger. Damn, 30 minutes. Do you mean to mute him for 30 minutes? I don't have a problem with it. Honestly, I'm glad it wasn't me. That guy deserves to have other people tell him he's silly. Other than me. Not 30 minutes. How long? Textile, tensile, stressed. Pants knew what I'm talking about. Here's the other problem is it's very warm in this garage. And I can't run my air conditioner while I'm recording because it's too much noise. Oh, Judy is driving the pallet. Sounds like Judy. Yeah, we need to cool down this studio. It's a nice thunderstorm. I love it so much. Disappointed. Disappointed! How's it going, Erica? Whew! Nice cold can. I don't know if the problem is it's too confined with space. I don't know if we'd get an AC quiet enough to run in here. Do you work till 2:30, Matt? Oh, that's terrible. Sorry. Oh, just gotta cool down. Just gotta have faith. I'm gonna have faith. Wouldn't it be nice if I did not get a copyright strike for singing this song? But keep it that bow. Oh yeah. Who? See, Jay knows what I'm talking about. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you what it sounds like. Also, because I really want to run it right now, just because it's not gonna do much, but. There it is. Yeah. So I think I might have a thing on that mutes if I'm not talking, but I'm talking, you can hear it in the background. It's very annoying. It's so terrible. Oh, 9 p.m. I see. I hear it, though, and this mic will hear it. And this mic definitely, I promise you this hears it, because I've tried. I, for one, do. I do care about it. If I have to pour seltzer on me, I haven't poured seltzer on me. Sorry. James, we gotta get you some better headphones. I'm just kidding. I'm not in charge of that. It's somebody else. Sean and Joe Icepack. I see now we're thinking with portals. I could do that. You'd think so, Pants. It does okay. It's just extra work. I'd rather be hot and just like annoyed in my studio than have to deal with that in editing. Editing is the worst part, I think. You can't see what I'm doing, but I can. You'll always wonder what that was. For example, what was this? Questions. Ooh, that is nice at AC, though. Oh, it's so hot in this here room. In myself a foul. Talk to me, chat. What's going on? Sorry. What's going on, chat? How are we doing? Be annoyed. There's a shortage of noids. Official puppet names. I don't know that I have official names of the puppets. Although, now that I think about it, this wig does fit on this puppet rather fetchingly. Oh, yes. I decree. No, that's the other voice. My God. It's beautiful. Also, it's losing an eyebrow. Suddenly, voice and ears. Now you can't hear the AC because I deafened you. Oh, there goes the wig. Constable Bane, Sergeant Khan. Sir Lloyd. Yes. All right, suspended light, yes, but what's the other one? So this is Arcan light housing. Like an old style one that I have lights in just for funsies. What is this? You'll never know. You'll never ever know what that is. And if you do know, then I was wrong. So there. Sirloin was a Chicago restaurant. Amazing. Right, hold on, I got some throat lozenges. That'll do it, Griff Guy. We got anything good going on this weekend? Washington's just, at least my side of the Washington, it's gonna be a rough weekend. We got parades for some reason. We got well, I assume the reason is my phone's at 37. Heck yeah. FIFA, and then FIFA's gonna be happening, and it's just gonna be absolute chaos the entire time. I don't have a camera above me, no. Not plastic box. I'm drinking a Kirkland brand sparkling water. It is lemon flavored. And very bubbly. Very. Not a joist. That's a joist. That is not the joist. You'll never get it. You'll always wonder, what was that weird noise? You do have that there, don't you, Lisa? Are you? Well, technically, on your side it'd be. No, I'm over here. Are you there? Hint of a general idea of lemon flavored Hitchbot for sure. All right. How'd that behind that? It's not plastic. It's not hollow. Well, nah, not hollow. Flagged it. Oh, man. Does your pointer go all the way up? Spew. Not a fair cage. Not a joist. Okay, Lisa, sure. Yeah. All right. Nope. You're still thinking plastic. It's not plastic. Man, Penny would eat ferrets. Hitchbot, how did you know? No, you're getting further away. Nope. Nope. Everyone wrong. Still wrong. You haven't even gotten the material close to correct. Oh, it's so good. Oh, and you're wondering too, and I'm not going to tell you. That's my favorite part. Okay, Pants. You would. You would. All right. Not disco ball. Not plastic. Not hollow. Sorry, hold on. I'm correcting someone online. Mm-hmm. All right. My throat is recovered enough. Someone is wrong on the internet. No, it's someone that I know personally, and so I was telling them about the stuff I found, and they're like, that dog, though. That dog hit on so many things that weren't there. It's like, well, okay. Well, the dog's hitting on something that may have been there. The dog doesn't detect the substance. It detects the odor of the substance, and the odor can be left behind. So if someone sat there with, let's say, marijuana in their pocket, and then wasn't there anymore, the dog's still going to pick up on that. So it's a very common misconception about dogs. The fact that it had been in there is indicative that it is still in there, potentially, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. It's a whole thing. It's not the horn. The horn is here. Although that's not, because it would sound... No, not even close. Never mind. My poor neighbors. Ooh. I'm not going to keep doing that because I'm going to get called the police on me. Whoo! All right. It's also a hitchbot like, the warrant was no good because they didn't find anything. It's like, that's not how warrants work, though. They can still be valid just because they don't find anything. Not a tea kettle. Ooh, I like that, though. Here, I'll get not a snare drum. Your little... Doesn't sound that off from a snare drum. All right, sync clap. Sync clap. I like to say it. It makes me happy. All right. Disclaimers. Let me go back. This one's going to be about why police didn't serve Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, the question has been repeatedly asked. Why didn't the police serve Ben's lawsuit to Joshua after confirming it was real? What in the corrupt, backwards American small-down nonsense is that? But first, a few disclaimers. Disclaimer number 1. I don't like Bam. I don't like Joshua. I don't like Brandon. I don't like the McNeffs. Based on what I've seen, I have the personal opinion they are predatory, and I think they're bad at running businesses. I do not know them. I've never knowingly interacted with them. I'm not paid by them. I'm not wishing for their success. However, my focus has not been on that. It is not on the ethics. It is not on the morals. It is on the criminal elements that may or may not have been met. And if you or Ben or anyone else think the ends justify the means, great. If you or Ben or anyone else don't understand why, as an example, gaining someone's signature through deception in order to forge a document is potentially felonious, then as a personal recommendation that is not legal advice, you may want to get a consultation with the lawyer before attempting to get justice for a victim of criminal or civil theft. Checking. Eggplant. Lego and said, all right, now from the guy who's like, you stole my Legos. But like, here's the thing with CoffeeZilla's video is like, he might not have owned those Legos at all. He might have just been like, I thought I owned those Legos still, but I don't. So Ben bought the Legos and they went, okay, company, give them to me. And then it's just like, well, if they don't have the Legos, then they can't. So he's like, great. Well, then you owe me money because they're in your possession. So that's theft by conversion. Give me money. And then he filed one of the worst, if not the worst lawsuits I've ever seen in my life. Like genuinely, words cannot convey how truly shocked I was by this lawsuit. And he lost, and he filed a second one. And that one, maybe he had a judgment for less than a month, but it was voided because his service was bad. And so when he went to Utah to be like, all right, I filed a third one, and now I'm required to, I filed a third one because you haven't paid me. And I'm required to do a good faith attempt to figure this out for a lawsuit. First of all, he's like, I'm here because you owe me money now. The third lawsuit is to get that money. Nobody owed him $10,000 like he claimed. And the first two lawsuits did have a declaration of good faith attempt to have a conversation before filing the suit. The third one just happened to not have it for some reason. Like, why? Why, Ben? Did you just suddenly forget how to do that? I don't think so. I think he wanted an excuse to go. And then just messed everything up. Whole thing. So Claymore. Yeah, that's it. Disclaimer number 2 for those of you, Disclaimer number 2 for those of you who are new and also trying to start a fight in my comment section. I will match your energy. I don't set the bar, but I will stop by for a drink. So if you come out swinging, you better be prepared to have your ground game tested. And I will remember you, even if you're popping in and out of multiple areas of my comment section. And I will enjoy it more than you do. Disclaimer number 3. Everything I say in this video or the comment section is alleged and or a personal opinion based on the information I have reviewed that was available at the time of filming. So much is coming out so quickly, I'm keeping up as best I can. Do not consider any of this to be or cite any of this as fact unless you can and have verified it independently. Nothing I say should be considered a call to action. There we go. There's a lot of anger directed towards the American Fork Police and also me for not blindly accepting accusations of corruption based on the refusal to serve civil court paperwork to Joshua regarding a civil suit in Oregon over an alleged missing Lego collection. Because the internet seems to think I'm a paid shill. I promise you I'm not. Because the internet seems to think that I'm some sort of paid shill, I'd like to come forward and promise you that I'm not. I don't need money to be compelled to say truthful things on this channel. I don't accept money to lie on this channel. If that disappoints you, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry to those who want me to be addressing this from a morality or ethics soapbox. I'm only addressing the alleged crimes. If you think Ben is justified in committing them, great. If you think trespassing onto a roof has anything to do with legitimate legal service, no. If Ben isn't making choices with the knowledge of what the consequences could be, bad. Pretending he isn't appearing to meet the elements of crimes isn't going to help him in any way. If you truly support him, you need to take this seriously. With that in mind. No, I already did that. Sorry. Back on topic. This is Ben. He has a civil lawsuit to serve to Joshua. He has been trespassed from Joshua's property. He can't serve it due to the trespass, and he wouldn't be able to serve it regardless because a plaintiff can't be the person directly... Nope. Ruined that. Back on topic. This is Ben. He has a civil lawsuit to serve to Joshua. He's been trespassed from Joshua's property. He can't serve it due to the trespass, and he wouldn't be able to serve it anyway because a plaintiff can't be the person to directly serve a lawsuit to the defendant. So he has brought along someone else to act as a process server. And as long as they're above the age of 18, that's probably fine. Joshua, however, does not believe a process server would be hanging out with or riding in the same vehicle as Ben, and trespasses her from his property as well. Now she also can't enter the property. Now, legally, sure, Joshua can do that, but I think he did this based on a misunderstanding of the process service. In some states, a process server must be licensed and or insured and or bonded and or several other things, I'm sure. But in Utah, a complaint or summons or subpoena may be served by an individual who is 18 years old or older at the time of service and not a party to the action or a party's attorney and not a felon sex offender, which I hope she's not. So the process server could absolutely be in the same vehicle as Ben. On the other hand, Ben probably should have known not to be in this. Excuse me. So the process server could absolutely be in the same vehicle as Ben. On the other hand, Ben probably should have known not to be in the area, given how jumpy Joshua clearly was. It's a learning opportunity for both sides. Now, the officer offered to hand the paperwork to Joshua, but Joshua refused to take it, so the officer returned it to Ben. Why? Why didn't the officer just say, nope, you've been served. You can't refuse this. How much may you say the sky is currently hot pink? There is not an amount. You can't afford me. There are a few potential reasons. First, there is a process to get the police to act as process servers, and usually you would go through the sheriff if you want law enforcement to do it. In fact, one of Ben's friends did exactly that in the lawsuit that he showed in this video as the one he's trying to serve, but it wasn't actually the correct number. It's a whole thing. It's very strange. Let me redo all of that. There are a few potential reasons. First, there is a process to get the police to act as a process server. And if you wanted that to happen, you'd probably go through the sheriff, which actually is what one of Ben's friends did. And Ben actually used that case to pretend to be this third case that he's actually trying to serve in this video. It's a very weird thing. So that's an option that they did use later. Could have used it all along. We'll get there. Actually, I think I have that later. I'm going to read what I've actually written. There are a few potential reasons. First, there is a process to get the police to act as process servers, and usually you would go through the sheriff if you wanted law enforcement to do it. You don't set the schedule of that service, though, so if the reason Ben didn't do that was so that he could film the service, well, that's a choice that he decided to make. The police officer has the authority to serve the paperwork, but if this deviates from the normal procedure the department uses for service, then it could cause a lot of problems. Joshua could make a very annoying legal fuss about why Ben was getting treatment that nobody else was getting when it came to legal service. By merely attempting to mediate this without actually acting as a process server, the officer mitigated that possibility. Second, although the state allows police officers to act as process servers, it's possible the department prohibits it. I don't know. I haven't obtained a copy of the department's policy manual, but I do know that some departments throughout the country will have a policy prohibiting it for a variety of reasons. For example, not giving people the chance to use the sheriff. Third, there's paperwork that needs to be filled out by the officer for this to be lawful service. Third, there's paperwork that needs to be filled out by the officer for this to be lawful service. It's the officer's choice for this. I got to read what I've written. Third, there's paperwork that needs to be filled out by the officer for this. Judy, you son of a gun. Thank you. Thank you very much. Members, you do have a free one of those. Third, there's paperwork that needs to be filled out by the officer for this to be lawful service. It's the officer's choice to do that or not do that. If they don't want to do it, then even if the officer did require Joshua to take the papers, the service wouldn't count. So what could Ben have done differently? Well, he could have had his free process server go alone without him, and if she was too scared to go without him, he could have found somebody else. Perhaps, I don't know, a professional process server, which would have cost him some money, but less than a lawyer would to defend against stalking charges. He could also hire a private investigator to do it. Set up service through the sheriff, which his friend did in this lawsuit that Ben falsely insinuated was the lawsuit he was trying to serve here. Or he could have served the lawsuit through certified mail. I am losing my voice. But these don't make for good television, do they? Ha beat you to it. Thank you, Pants. It's very kind. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please keep in mind the disclaimers. I promise being polite will get you much better results. And until the next time, be good, stay safe. All right. I am actually losing my voice. Oh, the package one's so good, though. Oh, I might have to film it tomorrow. Okay, we might do more. I'm going to give you, ladies and gentlemen, because I am starting to lose my voice, because it's so warm in here. It's the end of the day. I've been talking all day, and now I come home. I'm in this outfit here. Oh, my God. Morrison Pouch, you can leave. If you got a problem with it, or we can help you out. I got no problem with it. I do this for fun. And if you're going to take away my fun, which you won't, because I'm going to have fun doing this, but if you're going to try to take away my fun, I have no reason to keep you. It's your call. I'm so excited. Please. Anyway, who here would like to find out what crime, what violation of rights I believe the American Fork Police committed against Ben and Tyler, his buddy? Oh, Morrison, you can leave then. Where? Bye. DeWitt was pretty good. But now I'm just having fun. Now I got fun lighting. Didn't have that. No. Hold. Can you imagine going to somebody and being like, oh my God, you fell off, bro? Like, buddy, you came to me. If you don't like what I'm doing, why are you here? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, Lisa got him. Hey, I didn't say to do it, but I don't disagree with it. I genuinely do not. If I cared about my channel not crashing and burning, I would not be covering this topic the way I'm covering it. I'd be taking Ben's side every step of the way. I'm not. If I was worried about my channel getting destroyed by this, I would not have done it. I'm not worried about it at all. If it goes away, I have more free time. I'll find a different hobby. The shriek that Seth Meyers plays for the Lightning Thunder. You'll have to remind me later. Time them out. All right. Who? You gotta tell me in the chat, because I'm gonna be that guy. Who wants to know what crime what crime the American police may have committed and how they did it? I know it's all of you, but I want to hear it. I want that validation. I need that interaction. God. Just for fun. There's a delay. I know. There's a delay. Oh, thank you. We back blue. We back blue or we back the blue? I misread it at first. Get out of here with your loud cars, you hooligans. But I digress. Oh, yep, my dog's howling. Goes to the loud car. All right, that's a yes. That's one yes. So, a lot of people have been complaining about the traffic stop where there was the search. Like, well, they delayed the stop for the search. No, they did not. Nope, the dog was already there. They didn't extend the stop to wait for a dog. So the whole Rodriguez versus U.S. stuff Rodriguez versus the United States was a Supreme Court case where there was a traffic stop, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to get a dog, wait here. And then like the person had to sit there and wait for the dog to show up. And the Supreme Court's like, you can't delay the stop for the dog to arrive. The dog's already there, like by all means. And the dog was already there. And when they walked the dog to an open air sniff around the vehicle, Ben was out talking about what he had been doing that day. And that is potentially evidence of the crimes that they reasonably suspected him committing, which is why the traffic stop was happening in the first place. So like there was no extension. If Ben had just shut up, and if Tyler had not agreed to do standard field sobriety tests, which are voluntary, the stop would have been over in like 10 minutes. Maybe how long it took to run Ben's ID, because like it wasn't running through their system for whatever reason. So it would have been fine. So the dog alerted. It did alert. It got excited and then sat. That's what is often trained in police dogs. So there are a lot of people like, oh, they jumped on the car a bunch of times. Those are all alerts. Nope. The alert is when it sat down. The jumping is not an alert. The sitting is the alert. So dog alerted. They went, great. Searched the vehicle. They found nothing. That does not invalidate it at all. Because the dog is only smelling the odor of a substance. That does not mean the substance is actually in the vehicle. It just means it was at some point likely in the vehicle. Because the dog's nose is incredibly sensitive. It's very, very, very good tool. Doesn't mean that you can't have a bad dog. That is like a dog that's bad at sniffing. But they tend to be pretty good at the drug stuff. The problem is, while they were searching the vehicle, they searched Ben and Tyler too. That's where they crossed the line, I think. Because they were outside of the vehicle. There's no reason to think necessarily the drugs are on them. And I understand the drugs could be on them, could have been caused by them, but generally you need a second thing. What the police should have done was acquire a warrant to search their pockets and shoes. So the police are like, all right, we're going to go into your pockets, take off your shoes. Maybe they agreed. Maybe I didn't hear it. One of the officers muted his body cam, forgot to unmute it. That happens. That's not necessarily criminal or whatever. It's just a lot of finger wagging at you for it. And that's going to, if you have a case based on that, like a defense attorney is going to tear you apart for it. So maybe they both consented to it. But if you're going to argue, well, and there are a lot of things you can factor in. Okay, well, they both looked super suspicious, which is true. They both looked incredibly nervous. Tyler was just like all over the place. And then Ben was just like it was like a flight response. It was, that's about as nervous as you can look in a car without starting to grab for the door handle. They both looked super nervous, which is to be expected during a stop by police. But this was maybe a little beyond what's normal. Tyler, they thought he might be intoxicated, and I don't disagree. He blew zeros in the PBT, but that means not intoxicated by alcohol. It does not mean not intoxicated at all. Drugs being an alternative. If you're intoxicated with drugs, it doesn't show up on the preliminary breath test, the PBT, the little thing that you blow into on the side of the road. So that is a reason to why. That's, I think, why they're like, yeah, get the dog out, because he looks a little intoxicated. And maybe he did a little bit, but no alcohol. So drugs, marijuana, maybe. That's what I would have thought, because they do note a red sheen on his eyes. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, hard to tell on the body camera, but that would suggest marijuana. And the dog did hit, and so they have all of that. So they could say, well, the dog hit on the car. He was in the car. The dog hit on an area that he was near, within reach of. He could have put something in his pocket when police arrived, which is true. He could have hit it on his person. That doesn't mean there weren't drugs in there. It just means the police didn't find the drugs. He could have had that. He looked scared. We thought he was impaired. Christian, the Mormon guy who went to confront, appeared to be intoxicated, which I know, like, Mormons shouldn't drink. They also weren't supposed to lie, so maybe he's a bad Mormon. I don't know. Or member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, which I think is what they prefer over the word Mormon. There's a whole rebranding. So police, in theory, could articulate it for Tyler. Maybe if they really articulated it, but not Ben, unless Ben agreed to it, which I don't know that he did, because the body camera was turned off. And I didn't hear the police, and a lot of road traffic, so maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't. But if Ben and Tyler were like, yeah, we were never asked if we could be searched, and that's an illegal search, I'm fairly certain, of their pockets, and like when they took all the shoes. Now, a pat down, a Terry frisk, if you're like, I think you might be armed, which you'd still have to articulate. You still have to justify that. That's one thing. But to take off the shoes, and it completely invalidates it. You don't take someone's shoes off for a Terry frisk. So unless they consent to that search, and because the report that was written did not go into any details about that, I think that was an unlawful search. Not the vehicle. The vehicle is perfectly lawful. The search of the persons, unlawful. That is my assessment. That does not mean there is not information out there that would establish I am wrong, but based on what I have, that was a violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. And that is my belief. Now, Pan says if nothing was found and thus there's no evidence to be thrown out or excluded, does it really matter if it's a legal search? It matters a lot less. That's an incredible point. Yeah, usually that would just mean that stuff is excluded or thrown out in a case. But, and this now factors in the police qualified immunity. The police can have qualified immunity in making this mistake, and I don't think they would, because I think it's a pretty well-established thing. You don't search the person. And if they wanted to sue the department, I don't know if they'd get much. I don't know what would happen. If they're making an argument that they're being targeted, this is exhibit gosh darn A. It's not exhibit A, but this is, I think, the strongest thing they have. Out of everything that's happened, that searching the box is the strongest thing they have as far as the police are doing things they shouldn't be doing to them. But that's a very good question. Oh, someone's revving their engine outside. Morrison Pouch said, look at you come back. All right, they said about eyes being constricted and the other officer, yeah, that's like a dilation. They are opposite pathology. Yeah, I don't remember which one's constricted and which one's dilated. I get them confused all the time. That could have been what they're saying. Or they're saying one is one, one is the other, which is something that happens with drugs, is one will be constricted, one will be dilated. That's a huge indicator. All right. But, yeah, I get those backwards all the time. I'm not going to fault them for that. You can see in the video, Tyler just... I don't know. I might have pulled him out. If he had said no to the SFSTs, I wouldn't have charged him with it. But if he wanted to volunteer for it, yeah, I would have asked him that question for sure. But hey, do you want to take this test out here? And Tyler's like, yeah. So, voluntary test. Yeah. I know, Christian the Mormon, Hitchbot. I know. Oh boy, do I. All right, we got 18 minutes left before I gotta end it because I am losing my voice. But I digress. What other questions do we have? Go on, give me one. Ask the train. The train's giving out a free question. Oh. 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 Did Ben go to Mexico? What's the actual status of things now? I don't know if he actually went to Mexico. If he went to Mexico, police can still get to him there. First of all. Well, technically, they can request to be extradited if it's a big enough crime. If they really started charging him with all sorts of stuff, I was about to say nonsense, because like I don't think they could charge him with anything right now that would really get an extradition, unless they like paid a lot of if they are like, yeah, we'll cover all of the transport and all of the things, then Mexico might be like, all right, cool, if we don't really have to work for it. But they did serve him. I don't know how they served him, but service is not like what a lot of people think. They think you can only do personal service, meaning you hand deliver it to the person. That is not the only way to do it. You do it by mail, you can do it by email, depending on the court. You can do it by posting, where you just publish it, or publishing, I guess. Posting, I think, is like Facebook. Could be wrong about that one. I'm not really, that one's like so unusual. No, posting is hold on, sorry. Publishing is you do it in a newspaper. Posting is you have it on the courthouse, like out exterior. So there are tons of ways. When I was talking about Jim Terry, the PI, he's like, you can't sue me. You'll never find me to serve me. And I'm just like, hey, all the victims of Jim Terry. You don't have to find him to serve him. Worst case scenario, you just put posters on the courthouse That's on him. Yeah, I know someone who's actually served someone through publishing in a newspaper. And it worked. It's expensive, but it worked. Usually you have to get permission from the judge to do it, but when I served De Castro with the protection order, I did it electronically. I did it through his emails. Chile himself got permission to publish his lawsuit against one of his judges in a particular law journal. That's kind of amazing. That's kind of amazing. N and B buttons are broken. I've been having trouble with the ampersand for some reason. The sovereign citizen. Okay, so not technically a sovereign citizen, Chile De Castro. He's still out there suing people. He lost the lawsuit against me. That's for sure. And then he tried to appeal, and he just lost that too because he didn't pay the filing fee or something. So, what a champion. Oh, mighty train of truth, will you speak verily to me when we get to see Penny again? Train of truth is slow. Alright, train of truth, when we see Penny again. You will see Penny after the stream. Oh, that's true, I will see Penny after the stream. The audience will see Penny if you ever decide to do another outdoor stream, which I might be tempted to. Because Penny's not allowed in here because there are too many cables. Penny being my dog. Realistically, when will you or your insurance see a dime from Chile? Is anything still rhyme with? I don't know what my insurance is going to do. I probably have to file to collect. I'll give that a few months just to make sure everything settles down with the appeal. And then we'll see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. I do. I should get it. I need a giant. No, because that'd be obnoxious. He sued for a bunch of nonsense. He made a bunch of stuff up. Couldn't prove any of it because it was all made up, and my insurance covered most of it. And then you guys were incredibly generous with your donations, and so I don't think I made money off of it. That's for sure. I've definitely lost money off of it, but. Somehow it's not about money. It's about sending a message. Leyland, what? Gypsy became a public defender who was a personal friend before she was even extradited? I don't even know. I don't know what any of that means. Huh. It's about justice. It's about sending a message. It's about... I would be putting out a video explaining the whole situation and how to beat him at his own game. And I've talked to local law enforcement, and they say, if he tries it again, we got you, boo. And I tried to report him. I'm like, all right, now the case, because they wouldn't take it while the case was active. It's like, well, there's an active case. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it after the case. And then after the case happened, they're like, we could, but we're dealing with real world stuff right now. And I know a bunch of people over there. I went, fair. I don't want my personal vengeance to get in the way of stopping other people from getting what they deserve, the justice they deserve. And so we basically came to the agreement that if he starts things up again, he's borked. We'll see if that holds out, but yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, no, I've been fiddling. This is what I've been controlling my teleprompter with. Heck yeah. Anthony Caruso, hello there. How's it going? You came just in time for this to be over in 11 minutes. He went to jail. Not because of me. He's probably going to end up there again. He still has that warrant out for his arrest. But yes. At least 2 warrants. Was the California one ever resolved? Oklahoma. Was that the traffic one? was the Oregon? I thought the Oregon one was quashed. Is that the old Oregon one? Oh, it's that one. Oh, that was after I stopped paying attention. That's right. Oh. Formal invitation to join podcast NCR for live one day. Do I accept it? Oh, I thought you said, do I accept it for free? So you would pay me? Dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. I mean, when I'm free is the problem. But one of these days, I will have to stop by for surezies. I did stop by the other day on, which one was that? I don't even remember. That was, my brain's mush. It is a soup. It jostles around when I move it. Yes. Hitchbot, that one's not still open. Sorry. Having fun. Tired. I got 12 hours of sleep last night. Actually, I'm doing great. My voice is tired. So I just, 6 p.m., just lay down. Gone. One quashed in Ohio. What? It isn't actually for molesting motor vehicles. You guys are just giving it that title. There's no way that's what it's actually called. Let me end this recording. I might have to do another live stream tomorrow. It's not still up. Let's never forget that. That's actually the charge. What? That might be the best charge ever. Now, to be fair, Lisa, this was after like 2 weeks getting 5 hours of sleep a night. He tried to open the door to see which one he could grab the pew-pew out of. Insane. See, it would be like vehicle prowl over here, maybe. It would be... My God. How incredibly stupid. I'm so glad I'm no longer dealing with that content. Because my God. It was fun while it lasted, though. 3 counts of loitering, injure, molest motor vehicle. He claims, of course, that he was entitled to nay, empowered by the First Amendment. He was a journalism. On journalism, I say. How dare you doubt me and my journalism? I am a journalism scholar, an expert in the journalismistic arts. I say unto you, the viewer, heed my warning. Journalism is the future, the past, and the present. Any of ye who get in my way shall surely perish amongst the fires of hell, burning with the rest of your brethren scum. Yeah, careful on that tail. Listen, that tailpipe must have been like a hot dog in a hallway. Free speech. You need a cigarette after that? I'll do it again. Nah, no, I won't. Or will I? Or will I? Begone, ye demons from hell, back to the void from whence you came. Boy. You ever play, What's that? God of War.
Boy, fetch my axe, boy.
You know, as you do. My voice starting to give out. It's fun though, right? The lights. What does this button do? That was important. Nope, wasn't important. This one important? Yep, it was important. This is the light I was thinking of. Yeah. Huh. That is a good light. Yeah, I do need another light right there that I can turn on and off. But I digress. 5 minutes, folks. Then we're done. Ah. I'm just sorry. I'm just reading the chat. What we got? See, broken pants. That's, you don't want broken pants. You need those working. Need some sturdier pants up in here. My pants, they're not sturdy enough. Oop, let me just get a little stretch going on in here. Ah, that's better. Very tangled up in wires. A lot of wires. One day I'll tell you about the wild story of the shenanigans at the Perth police station at the Christmas party last year. Yeah, why wasn't I invited? Huh? I'll do it. I'll go. I'll buy a ticket. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not really sure yet. No, I need that so I can see the chat. Julie Spence that he literally marched right on into the police station and immediately admitted what he did. All proud, like, yeah, that's not good. Oh no, Diabetic Eagle, no! Shenanigans. Listen, Cruz, we'd get into some trouble if I showed up. I tell you. Like, I'm a foreigner. I don't know anything about this country. I'm just saying. I'm up for some legal, non-substance related shenanigans. Hi, chat. Oh no, you're both What are you doing? What are you up to? You said something last stream. And I was like, I wonder what that's about. But now it's you're conspiring against me. Conspiring, I say. Oh, okay. Pants. Oh, okay. Hey, at least it's good having you here. Pants, that was, yeah, because he violated the protection order. And here I am in handcuffs, like someone clip that right now, trying to get my mouse. Like, I'm not going to get out in time before it disappears. If he deletes it, it's gone. It's fucking, the mouse, can't get the mouse. Someone got that. And I managed, I still have that saved on my computer. Taking up space. You conspire, never do that. No. All right. I gotta do things tomorrow. I don't want to do them. I am thinking about streaming tomorrow to finish these videos. But I do got a couple more good ones that are pretty good. Pretty good. 1 minute. Also, guys, it's been a fantastic stream. Thank you so much for joining me. I always have a lot of fun doing this. And Hey, Pants, get to bed. I'm about to end this. So I'm gonna try. I can't promise another one tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do another one tomorrow at some point in the day. I'm not really sure. I'm so sorry. I know. They'll be viewable after the fact for at least a few days, just in case. It's not. I know it's not as fun when you're not there to see it live. I will be editing it down into the videos. It just won't have all the bloopers. So there's that. But I digress. That is 2 hours. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that a thank you for all your generosity, everyone. It goes to the silly lights and the bits and the bobs and the whatever I got going on. And it makes it a lot more fun for me. I hope it makes it a lot more fun for you. And it's all done with your support. So with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, be good, stay safe. It didn't work. There it is. Diabetic Eagle, you are so right. I do need to. Yes, I was like, oh, I should do that when I start streaming. I'm like, it's already too late. So yeah. Anyway.